hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, bringing you that spice to sci fi and pop culture analysis, and of course, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And welcome to our latest installment where we are breaking down episode by episode Masters of the Universe Revelation, which is the first 5 episodes are available on Netflix now. And today we're gonna slug through episode 3. Talk about various things in it. Although I will say there's something about episode 3 that I absolutely, yeah, that I actually liked, and for a good reason. And when I tell you, it will be no surprise. So let me bring up my fellow co-host, partners in crime, fellow cellmates.
Raid Shadow Legends does not sponsor this crap.
Like 6 packs of beer every 10 minutes.
It's tequila and Red Bull today, so I can keep energized
Tequila
and Red Bull together.
and Red Bull.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like a party.
It is. Let me tell you something.
You know, one of the best remedies for a headache. I know when I was in hardcore engineering as a software developer, Red Bull and Advil. That was some good. And then they started coming out with Advil with caffeine, or like the painkiller caffeine. And then I guess they finally got that idea and put it in a pill. I'm like, that is some freaking great stuff. I've had a migraine, took 2 of those, and woke up in hours like nothing happened. Hashtag, I'm not giving medical advice, okay? I'm just saying, it's there at Target. Nice to have in your your first aid kit, when it's the difference between you strangling everybody and that kind of thing. So how are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I reached out to Patricia Tallman yesterday, and she replied within 5-10 minutes. We're going to try to get her back on the Babylon 5 show in the future for her episodes. Yeah.
Awesome. I love how that show was taking off for you, dude.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I can't wait to do the Farscape one next year after we're done going through Babylon 5. Oh my God, no more Crusade. I don't want Crusade.
I loved Farscape. Babylon 5 was one of those where I had to eventually sort of get around to it. And then when I did, I was glad that I discovered it. But Farscape was one of those that like hooked me right from the start. It was just crazy. It was insane. I freaking loved it.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's how you do with Babylon 5 and Farscape?
Mm-hmm.
I like Babylon 5. It's more of its own, except for the first season. But other than that, it is a good show. It's something you can always talk about.
Yeah, it's a really good show. And I honestly wish that I would have started watching it earlier, but I just gotten into Deep Space Nine, so got into that, and then eventually in the fandom started hearing about it. You gotta check out Babylon 5. I'm like, okay, fine. I did. I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good. Broke my heart when oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. When they went to TBS,
TNT,
and they didn't I forget the lead actress. I'm so blanking on her name.
Dolan?
Claudia
Claudia Christensen.
Yeah, Claudia Christensen.
Yeah, she's friends with Patricia. Yeah, they actually have a lot of fun. Yeah.
She didn't sign up for the next season. That kind of broke my heart a little bit because I loved her. I loved her.
Yeah, it was too bad. It really was too
show.
bad.
Yeah, she explained her reasons why, at a convention, which made sense, but the fans were kind of like, we understand, but we don't understand at the same time. But cool people. So speaking of cool peeps, thanks to all of you settling in here in the chat. And I saw that I do have 2 channel members. So welcome Mike Loves Tacos and Lonnie Holcomb to the Suave Society. Thank you so much for being channel members. Please do check out that community tab for all the posts. Usually when I'm out or I find stuff, I'll like put pictures up. The latest, I think it was a caption contest that I put up for just something I just happened to find. It was hilarious. And we should be having a member stream, I want to say it's probably going to wind up being early next month because of the holidays. So I'm trying to put together something special for you guys for the December member stream. So just keep your eyes out for that.
You should call it Dismember. You have a new member now, Lug Nuts, Dismember.
Dismember?
Yeah.
Hey,
Dismember.
Lug Nuts, who sends just the sweetest poetic super chats ever. Oh, thank you so
I
much,
haven't
my
got
dear.
one.
Thank you. He sends the sweetest super chats, and Matt G sends some of the craziest funny super chats.
I better get a sweet one, Lug Nuts. I could really use some sweetness in my life.
We have grumpy old Ninja Kentaro, and I can't pronounce the last part. I don't want to destroy it, but
Boy.
Thank you so much. Usually he is out there retweeting, not only just shouting out the streams, but he puts his own, and I'm sorry if I misgendered you, puts his own twist on it when he puts the shouts it out on Twitter. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that. He says, may the force keep you in strength to survive this and not descend into madness like poor Az and Etep did with Black Whammon. Oh, with Bat. I refuse to. I refuse to go there. That's why I let them go there. I cannot watch Batwoman. It will be ugly. It will be very, very ugly if I had to continue that. If you want to see the difference between how I because I have my nice sunny disposition and everything, even when I'm tearing stuff apart, not when it came to episode 1 of season 2 of Batwoman.
It really started off on the wrong foot, didn't it?
It was freaking horrible. I'm like, that's 45 minutes of torture of me reviewing. Then I'm like, no. And then happened to be, I think, one of the highest episodes reviews I ever did. So apparently people like laughing at my pain, but I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do it. Just go back and laugh at what I already have. Let's see, we have Zachrat 315 who says, howdy, y'all. Well, howdy to you too, my dear. So glad you're here. And Lugnuts again says, hey, Lorena, hello. And thank you again for being a channel member. I appreciate that. And we have Ion who says, hi there, Lorena and the Nerdy Girls. Yes. Of course, we have Spat Steven with us
What
too.
the hell? I'm a very pretty girl. It's just a lot of laryngitis, I tell you. Let's make out after the stream.
Like you
Yes.
smoke a lot of cigarettes.
I just like to get frisky with all those men that love poetry. Let's go. Yes.
And we have my sweetie Kaylee D is here. Thank you so much, my dear. Another person who likes to shout people out in the fandom. Thank you so much, my dear. So much. She's an amazing wrench on the channel here. And let's see, we have Zen Waters who says, Miss Creole, exclamation point. Well, hello. Glad to see that you're here with us. I appreciate that. We have Robert, who's also another channel member, says, hi, everyone. Well, hello. And we got Keely Chow here because you got to say roll tide when Keely Chow shows up. I appreciate that. And let's see, we have a comment for you. It says, I like that Scarface poster you got there. Howdy. Ooh, nice.
Say hello to my little friend.
I just got around to watching Scarface a couple of months ago. I always knew of it, and folks will say, well, how come you didn't watch it? I said, I don't think you understand. I have relatives who live in Florida. So that whole story around Scarface was like on the news all the time. So it wasn't anything like interesting or different to me. I knew it was a good flick because folks were watching it, and they made kind of like an homage to Scarface that I liked, and that was called New Jack City. I like that.
Fantastic film. Yeah, that was. I love Wesley Snipes. I think he's an incredible actor with an even more incredible body.
Oh yeah.
I love Vampire 57. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's a beautiful man.
Oh God, yeah. Which is why I kind of felt so bad for him when he was in Coming to America too. It's just, yeah, I could have lived without seeing that. And Blade is not the same without him. He's the only person I see as Blade. Ever.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I agree. his physique, just, I mean, honestly, you can see the training and his just form, everything, the way he stands, the way he just carries himself. It's just beautiful. And, you know, you
Mhm.
can't buy that anywhere. It's just something that took years and years of practice. And you can tell this man is talented in the martial arts, but also talented actor, a wonderful screen presence. You know, he lights up the like when he's on camera, it just
Mhm.
lights up. I mean, he's wonderful.
He really is. He's just, you know, he's just an amazing actor. I can't think of anything that I didn't, you know, ever like him in. Although between like Blade and New Jack City, I don't know which one,
Mhm.
which one I like better. But yeah, he is awesome.
I like that you compare the two because, like, you know, New Jack City would be like if you met him on the street, and you know he looks exactly like he does in the film. He doesn't look any different. So there's no augmentation. You know, he doesn't need anything to look good. This it's just unbelievable. But in Blade, he was unbelievable too. So, you know, just good all around.
Yeah. Ah, miss that dude.
Mhm.
Let's see. We have Cavatinho Cavalryman Che, who says video expert only spent 20 hours in 3 days to improve low grade footage. Need to hear people who know what they are talking about. Well, hopefully we can help you out here, Cavatinho. Hopefully. Just kick back, relax, and just enjoy. And we have Pod Racing Palpatine who says, hello there. I am the
Hello.
master of the universe. Now move along. I can hear Palpatine saying that actually.
Mhm.
And hello, Snortopoopas Cuber, and thank you for being a member. So good to see you. He also says hello. Just hello, Stephen, and so he just calls you by the first one.
Mhm.
And we have a Polynese Minion who says hello, all waving. And we have
Hi.
Zax waving. And let's see. I see JJ says, what's up? What's up? What's up? Good to see you,
Sup?
JJ. Thanks for
Sup?
being a channel
What's
member.
down?
It's what? Oh, what's
What's
and Dylan Campbell, stream time. Yes, yes, yes. It is stream time indeed. Indeed. I love it because I run from the work office across, hang out here in the fun zone. So I like being in here. Yes, please smash the like button and share the stream out, everyone. Yes, thank you so
Mhm.
very much. Appreciate that.
She'll
And
beat me if
let's
you don't.
see. You're not supposed to say
I will say whatever the hell I like. She will beat me. She's proven it. Licorice whips and everything.
I've been known to smash a couple cakes, you know, just drop it.
Hey! If I have to suffer through the Kevin Smith trilogy here, I'm going to make some comments.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We do have to give
Help
them
me.
that kind of leeway. Zen Water says Lorena Creole, the whole second season was awful. At least Kate Kane was funny. You know what? Yeah, that whole second season, I couldn't find anything interesting or written. I felt bad when what's his name got killed because he was the
Hush.
most. He was actually interesting, and I felt bad, but you know, if it's a superhero series and you're rooting for the villain, something's not quite right
Can I
there.
ask a question though? Would I look better? Would it be a better series if it was me in a goatee, bat tassels, and the Batwoman suit like I see in my picture here? Would that be a better series?
That would make it interesting.
It certainly would be an improvement.
It would be. Thank you for saying an improvement.
Exactly. Oh, you're welcome. Studying in Brave Megatron says butts. There's my plush Megatron back there. He's hanging out on the shelf over there. Let's see. We have Sid. Hello. Says good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What's up to Fat Steven Seagal and Lorena and her
Thank you, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Queen of Midnight Meadow. What's up, Popo?
Hey.
And let's see who else that we have. Oh, thank you so very much. Let's see. NB Geeks Let's Talk has this wonderful, wonderful super chat. For $5, thank you so very much, my dear.
Yes.
Remember our vets today. We were fortunate. We took the oath, wrote the check for the full amount. We made it home. Many of us know many who did not. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much to our vets. One of the best jobs that I had, even though I had to put up with the U.S. government, was being a defense contractor and giving our warfighters solutions that they needed. It was one of the best jobs that I had, where I loathed the customer I worked for, but loved the end customer that got it. So to this day, I'll watch movies and TV shows and stuff and say, yeah, that's my tech, that's my tech, that's my tech, that's my tech. And I'm so
Wow.
glad it's helped to like save lives and protect you guys. And my grandfather was a World War II vet. So when no one would listen to his stories, I would sit there and I would listen to all of the stories that he would tell me. And he would always make sure I knew the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. So folks, yeah, definitely do remember our vets. Do you guys have any vets in your family?
They have long since passed. But yeah.
Same here. For World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and the Korean War. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my uncle's a Vietnam War vet. And I've had some friends of mine who are involved in like more recent conflicts. But yeah, definitely remember our vets today. They are truly precious. Oh, well, thank you so much about my lipstick.
Ooh.
Thank you.
She borrowed mine.
I did. Yeah, now I got again.
It's called Crisco Red. You can find it in your local grocery store.
Hey, Theme Park Casual says, hey, kids. And you know what?
Hey.
It's Theme Park Casual's birthday, actually.
Today?
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy Hanukkah.
To you.
Well, thank you for being a channel member, Theme Park Casual, and I hope you had a wonderful and blessed birthday today. Let's see, we have Roger H, who's got that thumbs. Oh, dude, I'm trying to not remember that movie.
Roger H.
Look at it.
Yes, Zach, she really did live in a van down by the river.
Not cool.
And that was the joke.
Mm-hmm.
When they were talking about she lived in a van, and we were like, what? She lives down in a van by the river. And sure enough, that was the opening shot for season 2. I said, this is not going to end well.
No.
It's not going to freaking end well at all.
My favorite thing about her in general is that no matter where she points that back grappling hook, she always seems to get right out that hole and never hit her head.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that an airplane blows up in the sky and the Batsuit magically comes to her like Santa throwing a present from the sleigh. Here you go by the river. Here's your suit. Here's the 3 years of crappy content. Go CW. On your way now.
Oh,
Poor
well,
Chase.
thank you, MV Geeks. Let's talk. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
What about my
So
hair?
let's see. We got 19 of you folks in here. Thank you so much for
Wow.
watching. Please do hit that like button and please do share the stream out. So we are continuing with Masters of the Universe. It's cathartic. It's
Lorena, I got a
it's-
confession.
what?
I messed up the dates and started watching it yesterday, and I watched it like 4 times in a row just to get in my head. And then I looked at the date and going, I got 24 hours. What's going on? And I was like, crap.
Oh
God,
my
that's-
gosh. You know what? Before I start though, I'm trying to figure
Look
out
at those
who
nipples.
Diedrich Botter was. He didn't do He-Man's voice, did he?
It would tell you.
No.
That's been driving me nuts because I remember him from he did do He-Man's voice. Okay.
Wait. Oswald from
Yes.
from Drew Carey show did He-Man?
Yeah, and also the guy from Office
God.
Space. Remember Dude's neighbor?
Hey, check out Channel 6. Those breasts are good. You all right, Tim?
Hey,
Don't
Pig
worry, I
Man,
won't
it's
tell
the
them anything
breakfast
either, Dave.
sale. I got this chick. Oh my
Hey, Dave, you want to come on? Oh, man, I don't want any part of that shit. Nope.
God! You know what? I'm kind of upset right now.
He's better. He's just really good from Drew Carey's show. He plays a great idiot, and I give him credit for that. He's also wasn't he also the voice of Batman for Brave and the Bold?
I don't know.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong on that one?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hey JJ, thank you for the $5 super chat and for being a channel member. It says Lorena, did you get the super chat I sent during a member stream a couple of weeks ago? What's up, you sexy lady and the roses? Thank you. No, I don't. If it was during the member stream a couple of years ago, I don't remember. I don't remember. If I saw it, I know I probably highlighted it. If I was out and about, it may have slipped by me. But if it did, I'm so, so sorry. I hate it when I miss super chats because you guys send your hard-earned money. So I don't like missing super chats. That annoys me. So I hope I didn't. I didn't. But if I did, I apologize and thank you so much, JJ, for the super chat. You didn't have to super chat me that, but I take the sexy compliments and roses. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Nelson. The gentleman says, "Ice, nice to meet you all."
Ice
Yeah,
to meet you.
ice
That
to
was
meet you.
that was Ice to meet you. That was the one where he was mocking just the movie we were just talking about. You didn't want to talk about.
Oh, well, I do know that I love your avatar. I freaking love that. That picture.
You sticking his
The
tongue out?
meme for that is freaking hilarious. I almost bought the T-shirt. I almost brought the T-shirt. Oh, you're very, very welcome. And Teresa is in the chat. Thank you so much, my dear, for being here. I see her waving with the pretty rose. She always hands out. But yeah, Dieter Botter. Yeah, that just kind of blew my mind seeing that. But this episode here, I almost want to like it's called The Most Dangerous Man in Eternia,
Kevin Smith.
but to me it felt like Eternia High School. What were you guys' initial impressions of this episode?
Yeah, it was more like Journey to Subternia or something like that. It was it didn't feel very dangerous, like he was the most dangerous man. And it was Evelyn who coined the phrase here, right?
But
Mhm.
I think it was also a past tense term that the most dangerous man in Eternia was always man at arms. He was always the one with the tech, the ideas, and the plans in the background. And I think it was more of a forefront of his history, and maybe in a way a silent mockery of how he has fallen.
Oh, I see. And this was an episode where there were kind of a lot of snarky remarks
Yeah,
about
they're treating like grandpa.
in
Yes.
Eternia, so to
Yeah.
speak.
It's like, Grandpa, go sit in the corner. Go play with your teeth and your banjo. We'll get back to you when your food's all mushed up. That's pretty much what it felt like.
Let's talk about the first snarky ass comment because when this episode starts out, again, they go with the flashback, which I like. It's kind of like being in a warm bath, It's
You're
nice
all
to
wet.
see, and it's like Tila looks like a woman, and it's that teamwork dynamic that's going on, where you have, like the heroes that are there and, they're fighting and all of that. So it was like a great flashback to remind you of like how almost like back when you were a kid and you're watching, He-Man again, how are they going to, get out of this situation? And they're going to have to all work together to get out of it. And so, T-Man is, he likes to throw out those, observant one-liners. And then you're out of the flashback, and Tila basically says that He-Man has the humor of like a teenage boy.
Well, she can say that now, though, because she now knows. Isn't that true? Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to do that. But would she have said that before if she didn't know the secret?
No, she wouldn't have said anything like that if she hadn't known.
Yeah.
For example, like for him to casually say, I think he says, I took out the trash or something like that.
Yeah, it was, some of his trademark, one-liners, the kind of thing that the hero says at the end, that dry humor, kind of like, I want to say, like if you've ever seen CSI, like CSI Las Vegas, the original one, and Grissom always has a one-liner to say, Horatio Caine always has a one-liner, to say, and you expect that because that's their personality, and He-Man kind of has the same thing. But instead of kind of like a fond reminiscent of like, Adam just had this like really just juvenile sense of humor sometimes, or like He-Man would say that, but you would be actually able to feel the admiration. This was just very snarky and dismissive.
And Zach's, try adding the 4 from yesterday plus the 3 today. There's no sanity left in my soul. My soul right now is a wet paper bag, and I just want to punch out of it at this point.
And also, I kind of feel like she should be looking back at those comments as some of the best years of her life, where they were successful in defeating, Skeletor. And I think it was Mirror Man. So you kind of get the sense that maybe they'll be confronting Merman in this episode, like as a foreshadowing to the episode. But rather than look back at the good times, she's kind of like looking back at a comment that he made, just off the cuff, and maybe even, it's not a bad thing what he said. There was no reason to even criticize it. Just leave it alone. It was just some cute remark, that a pun even, right? A little pun about, taking out the trash. So he didn't deserve that kind of, as I would like to say, criticism. He didn't deserve it.
No, he really did. Oh, go ahead, Fatsy.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, the way it's been delivered in general is just, it just seems like a constant let's poop on Adam train, and the benefit of the doubt comes from only the weaker characters so far, and that has to be Cringer and Orko. Those are the only 2 most humane characters in this. Not even Andra. Please look at me. I just want to touch your butt. Andra,
that chick.
Well,
it's like a lost puppy. I swear to God, it's like a lost puppy.
She doesn't really feel like a real character, but of course, they had to make her an engineer, and, she creates whatever it is. And of course, this engineering background becomes very important in this episode, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, she's kind of instrumental in helping, is it robotics, take a place along with the crew. And but the bad part about it is that robotics kind of, I hope I'm saying the name right, he kind of displaces Man-at-Arms. And this entire episode is, if it's supposed to be the most dangerous man in Eternia, about Man-at-Arms.
Well, it technically is, because Roboto himself actually has the older memories of Man-at-Arms. So technically his persona is him. He's just a metal man. But you're right at the same time. The most dangerous man is pretty much treated as the most unacknowledged moron.
And that's not how he is. It's like Man-at-Arms was I want to say he was almost analogous to like MacGyver, so to speak. He
also had a kind of regalness to him, wouldn't you say, Lorena?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He seemed, I want to say he was like the most relatable kind of like of the group, kind of like I don't know, like part warrior, part dad, kind of, so to speak. He just had that kind of persona. It's like stuff that he would come up. It's like, here's what you need. Here's what you need. Here's exactly what you need. Kind of like Q in 007.
Yes.
He's kind of like that. And you always look forward to what he was going to come up with next.
He had a wonderful confidence about him. And no matter what the problem was, if you brought it to him, you knew he would address it and come up with a plan for what needs to be done and take action.
Yes, he wasn't one to just kind of sit back, and mope. And if he did get discouraged, it's just like, okay, all right, work through that. Let's figure out a plan and get back on track. But one of the things that I did like, of course, no surprise, I love Evil Lynn in this episode.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. If there was one character that they nailed right in this whole series, it was Evil Lynn.
Yes.
Even from when she's talking about the man basically, he was just, a goody or whatever. But that made more sense coming from her when she's talking about him. And when she basically points out, what? No, it's not He-Man. It's Man-at-Arms who's the most dangerous man in Eternia, because you can expect when He-Man shows up, that you've got pretty much brute strength that is coming from him. That's what you expect. With Man-at-Arms, you don't know what's coming at you. You don't know if a drone's coming at you. You don't know if it's weapons coming at you. You don't know if it's breathing apparatus coming at you. You just have no clue what it is that he's going to give to any of the Masters of the Universe to help defeat Skeletor and his crew. And it's just interesting how Evelyn knows that, but none of these others do.
Yeah, and Man-at-Arms, he doesn't have to worry about, if you were comparing him to He-Man, he doesn't have to worry about having to transform ever, because he's always that person, and he's always on. There is no off switch for him. So he's not going to be like, well, I'm sitting on the couch having a beer, I'll get back to you in 5 minutes. No. Even in the beginning of the series, when Teela is being presented sort of as the new Man-at-Arms, I still got the sense that Man-at-Arms was still kind of in charge. And despite her appointment, he was always going to be the senior person here. And we kind of see that because Teela walked out. So despite, let's say Man-at-Arms' exile, he still has a sense of responsibility to the kingdom. And we see that here in this episode, don't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was actually touching to see. And that actually made more sense. If it was anyone that would have been in that position, it would have been him. But to kind of like back up to the beginning of this episode, where they basically start out trashing He-Man, then you have Evelyn talking. Basically, I want to say it's, what is it? Kind of like a down with the patriarchy moment, where she's basically saying, you shouldn't fall in love with like dangerous men, and she's basically talking about Skeletor as if he was her unrequited lover. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember this
I don't remember her getting boned.
I don't remember her being that thirsty at all for Skeletor.
Maybe it wasn't love, maybe it was loyalty and devotion to someone's cause.
Honestly, I believe that Evelyn could have any man she wants. She's not the kind of woman who's going to be like, I really wish I had a man right now. No, trust me. She knows what she is doing. And if she needed a man at the moment, she would know how to find one. But also, I kind of think it cheapens her a bit, because that shouldn't be the most important thing to her, especially at a time like this. You're going to be talking about relationship advice while you're trying to save, essentially the universe. Like, it's how do you even get onto that topic? I think that maybe she was trying to figure more information out about Teela, and especially since Evelyn knows that Teela turned her back on the kingdom, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, maybe I can even plug her for more secrets about how things run. And if I can get that information from Teela, that'll help me defeat, just kind of take over. And I think that's what that kind of repartee she had with Teela, something that they've never had before. She felt she could go ahead and do it after she heard Teela say He-Man had the humor of a teenager who didn't get out much. Boom, now I can go ahead and make a snarky remark about Skeletor. Oh, look, we both have had guys. Oh, this guy's, on my shoulder. He's a chip on my shoulder. It's like, well, you keep talking about him. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right, just back up here. You guys are on a serious mission. This is not a time to sort of be bad-mouthing people when they don't really even deserve it for no reason. But I think maybe she felt she could get into the heart of Teela, try and figure out, because Teela's behavior is so different from what Evelyn has witnessed before.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't, it's like she's not the same person. Now, granted, it's like grief changes people, but there's a baseline, and we're not seeing it with Teela. And that could possibly be the case. Like, okay, this is kind of my entrance way to kind of use this against her. But it just to me, it just seems so ham-fisted, and that's why I joke, but it's true. It sounds like Eternia High when they're talking, because it seems like two teenage girls talking about, well, there's this guy that, he doesn't know I exist, and I just throw myself at him, and he doesn't it's like he's never gonna recognize me and see who I am. So why even flip and waste my time? And when Tila basically says, oh, don't mind her, she's got Skeletor in her closet, when Evil Lynn looks like she's shook up. And I'm just like, no, you wouldn't have been able to see her flinch like that. Although she comes back at Teal and basically says, yes, but who's still carrying a torch? I'm like, okay, touche. I did like that line. But it doesn't seem like that's something that they should be talking about. I could see them basically focused on the mission and what they have to do at hand. But it felt icky. It felt like I was back in high school, and I just did not like it. Oh, thank you, PJ. I see the super sticker, the teal guy saying fist bump, fist bump. Thank you so much, PJ. I appreciate that super sticker. I love
What's
it.
interesting about what you're saying, Lorena, is that instead of it being in high school where you have like every group is a different way, these are just like a group of just mean girls all around.
Ooh, kind of like the Plastics, huh?
Yes, kind of like the Plastics. It's not one group terrorizing everybody. This is just like, it's just very dour, very sad, and yet, the idea is that they're not grateful for all the experiences and adventures that they've had with these two guys, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, you're kind of like, by saying what they said, it's almost like they're saying, it doesn't really matter that they even existed. At least that's how I would interpret it, because you wouldn't say that about somebody you care about.
No, you would be reminiscing about the things that you appreciate about that person. It's kind of like when someone passes away and all you want to talk about is like all the great memories, that you have of that person. And it just seemed like with this, they were just trying to outsnark each other by, you like him. No, you don't. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. That's just like what it sounded like. And it's just like, if the writers think that that's something that women who grew up watching the show wanted to see, that's completely freaking wrong. And it's kind of insulting, if you ask me.
It is. And it also makes Teela and Evelyn look very shallow. Mm-hmm. But who can't appreciate, I wouldn't say it's a dad joke, but who can't appreciate something like that? I mean, it was meant kind of like, it just to lighten the situation at the moment, truth be told, because of, he's fighting these evildoers. And just to put a little lightness on it, well, we took the trash out, like it's meant to kind of, like, as a take the stress off of the seriousness of trying to, these people who want to do harm to essentially the kingdom.
Right.
So, so what's the harm in that? Let them have it.
I don't think, and Fat Steven can probably opine on this too, I don't think they understand the balance between danger and levity that we liked so much, in the original. They come like this close to death and then it's over, and they just have like this throwaway line, kind of like what you said, kind of like the dad joke, and you laugh because it's like, okay, we can laugh now because we've been holding our breath for I don't know how long to figure out if they're going to get out of this situation or not. And I don't think that they appreciate how much that kind of dynamic meant to those of us who watch the show.
Yeah, and the dad joke is a comment made by somebody who's happy. Dad is a happy person, and he's making jokes, to just kind of like, show and share his happiness, even if they are corny. It's okay. But, somebody sharing that, it's like, don't be mean. Don't go ahead and stomp on it,
I know. And speaking of like mean, okay, so they go into, into the village, and there's people, lining up to get, this little bit of enchanted water. And the one guy like falls and he spills it, and they're about ready to try to, beat him up. And this other guy comes out of nowhere and saves him. And Teela basically says, great moves, for an old guy, pretty much is what she said. And it's kind of
cloaked.
Like
he's cloaked, so you can't see who the gentleman is that saves him, right?
You can't see who it is, you know. But when you do see who it is,
You fight pretty good for an old man. You can stand for your own. Well, no duh.
I
Yeah.
just I just thought that was just pretty. You don't know this person, but yet that's the first thing you're gonna say.
It's like yeah, it's like the same thing. Grandpa got back in your corner. Your food will be mushed to you eventually. Like it's the same.
But would you recognize your own dad? Like, even if he was
Adopted her?
wearing a cloak on? I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. Let's think of all the history of their previous fights. Eventually, you're going to notice the same techniques and what you've been training in. You're going to see similarities in the fighting styles because you are in that same fighting style, even if it's adapted to your own self. So there's enough history there where something would have clicked. Even just a scent of sweat, for God's sakes, would have had you something.
I mean, my father passed away several years ago, and even now, when I see like older men who are approximately his age, and they're like those similarities you mentioned, Stephen, for a hint, even though I know my father, is deceased, it still grabs my attention.
Yeah. Mannerisms are easy, especially when you have such an attachment to them. And even with the way Tila is right now, there's no way in hell that she is so far detached with anger and resentment that she can't pick up on the simple nuances of someone close by that reminds her of something else. That's just my opinion on that.
No, that's a great point, and something that I hadn't thought of. I was more focused on how she like addressed him, because I would think, like, as someone who had worked in the royal court and served in the royal court, and these are subjects that should be treated with respect. And it's kind of like, sir, thank you so much for, defending this person, or, I don't know who you are, but I'm amazed at how protective you are. Just some kind of respectful engagement. And I didn't like that she came at it with kind of like a disrespectful way. And that just it didn't really sit very, very well with me. But you guys bring up bait points, because I didn't think about that, because she knows her dad. So she would know his mannerisms and kind of like pick up and maybe not be sure, but kind of like, like when you see somebody and you think they know they are, but you're not quite sure, and you're like, I'm sorry, but you remind me of X, Y, and Z. Are you X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, and this is that point, Lorena and Stephen, that we were talking about, where we see, of course, that it is Man at Arms, and there he is, sure enough, again, still, doing his duty to the kingdom, and there was nothing. Even, the king saying, and I still think he said that just because he was upset at the moment. There's nothing, including, the king saying that's going to stop him from doing his rightful duty to the kingdom.
Right. Right. And what did you guys think? Because he's talking to Tila, but he's just basically like, I have to get this cup back to basically save my friend. And then when you see who it is, okay, my heart broke when I saw how bad off Orko was. How did you guys feel when you saw him?
I felt terrible. I didn't want Orko to be suffering, and for him to actually feel the loss, because he's so connected. He is a magical being, and he's so connected to the magic in the kingdom that, what was done just broke a lot inside of him, to a point where he's dying.
It's like it breaks it breaks your heart, because you're used to seeing Orko as, happy go lucky, and always trying to make a joke, always trying to make levity. When he's trying to do magic, it's kind of like that. I hope it works. I hope it works. I hope this is gonna, this is gonna happen. And he's just always so bubbly, and you see him, and it's like he's skinny. He doesn't have a whole lot of energy, but yet, because he knows Tila, and because he's who he is, he tries anyway to do magic. And the magic he does doesn't quite
Mm.
turn out right because he's so sick, but it's just like the fact that he just tried to do that.
Um,
It was just it was
And
just
he
heartbreaking.
flies, like he can fly, like this is how he gets around. And so seeing him laying back on a bed like that, you knew something was wrong, because we've never seen him like that, have we? I mean, he's always kind of zooming through the air.
Never.
No.
He's always go ahead, Pat Steven.
What I was going to say is we're also missing a good point when it comes to Orko, or first seeing him again after the events that happened with episode 1, is that he is still in grief. He is the perfect example of mourning. He is still in that sadness of even being removed from the kingdom. And that has been delivered well. I don't like the voice actors in real life. His attitude is very pompous and condescending, and he deserves his backhand. But his delivery of Orko himself is phenomenal. And I attached myself to Orko right away because of this. He is in grief. Like I said, the mourning. He is sad. Even then, though, he wanted to create a single spell just because of an old friend. He's seeing again, and he still failed. And why couldn't they do this with all characters? That's the question. Why does it have to be the menial characters? Why couldn't they have done this with all characters? Are you telling me that Sarah Michelle Gellar doesn't have the voice to even act with emotion and empathy, just anger? Is it because you're only seeing Tila now as Buffy and not as Tila herself? This is the question that's been boggling my mind since I first watched these 5 episodes. The detachment of emotion.
Yeah, you make a good point on that. And it's very cold. Like, first we got the evil Lynn, which we would expect, although she comes off as being kind of sexy, in this series. So
I knew her. I was sorry.
Evil Lynn looked hot. I mean, she was on the boat. She took your helmet off.
Oh, that hair. Oh, God.
That glorious mane of hers flowing through the wind. And it was just like, you wanted to touch that hair. And
I wanted to touch that hair.
It was like a Vidal Sassoon commercial. It was amazing. And Evelyn knows she's something special. Like she has that, confidence that a lot of the characters in the show, the way that everybody's portrayed here, don't have. So since she portrays that, that's even more attractive to watch her, when she moves around or says anything. And everything she's doing is incredibly deliberate. She's not making mistakes. So compared to the way that some of the other characters are behaving, she comes across very differently and much more of an authority figure, or even someone to believe, versus, some of the other characters.
But look at Tila. Sorry, I want to quickly add to this, but look at Tila. Look at the empathy she has for Orko and his sadness. Where is hers? Why is that not applied to the situation? I'm sitting there going, you feel sorry for Orko for missing He-Man and Adam, but you can't take your own balls out of your purse and suck it up and feel that sadness too? This is horse dookie.
I think
I'm sorry.
But you're right. It's interesting that again, it goes with the voice actors and their range. I don't think, and it's pretty obvious, Sarah Michelle Gellar is not a voice actress because she doesn't have the range to convey, emotion. Like, say, for example, put her up against Leona I keep calling Leona Helmsley. I shouldn't. Cersei from Game of Thrones. Okay.
Leona Helmsley.
Cersei from Game of Thrones. Just the way she will change her voice, you can immediately tell what kind of emotion that she's trying to convey. And it's not hard. And all of the other voice actors seem to be able to convey how they feel, especially with the loss of Adam. But Tila, it's like she can't, and it just grates on your freaking nerves, and it doesn't get better. I mean, I could forgive if it was the first episode and she just seemed kind of off, but you can't fix that later on. But it also goes back to who's the director. Okay, so we'll look at these two people. Who's the director who basically can't say, okay, that sucks. You need more emotion. You need to try it again.
And also, what about the fact that even if they had changed it to, I kind of wish they were here now. Like if they'd said something like that, like inserted something like that, you'd be like, wow, like that would have been nice to hear, because I would like to believe, although we didn't hear it or read it in the story, that that's how they really kind of feel. I mean, although we know something different for the Skeletor situation, I have a feeling in my heart that Tila wishes Adam He-Man was there with her, and that if they had to recover the sword, let's say, she would want him to be there. And that's why we keep seeing the flashbacks. And it is true that the flashbacks were meant to pacify many of us who are long-term fans. I also think that that's because she hasn't stopped thinking about him.
Which would make logical sense, because when you lose someone that you care about, your brain is constantly replaying, moments that you had, good, bad, and in between. So you have those pictures going on in your head. So I totally agree. I totally agree with that. It's just interesting with that particular plot device. The flashbacks felt more like He-Man than this. It wasn't seamless. How to say that, so to speak.
Yeah, you're right. And, it was disjointed, would be the word, that I think we both would agree on, because it wasn't as smooth as it should have been. If you were reminiscing about something, it would be a happy thing. But she's looking into the negative part of what the reminiscing is about. And, you're only supposed to remember the good times, even if it was painful. Just remember the good times. Don't remember the bad times.
Right.
Because there's enough bad going forward. You don't want to be focusing on this. And that's why she really is. She becomes completely dour. And, she's even more dour than Evelyn herself.
That's what cracks me up. Even Evil Lynn has like that spark of just dark undercurrent of humor, and you just can't help but laugh, because that's what she was like in Masters of the Universe, especially when Skeletor would be droning on and on and on and on, and she'd throw something out there like, "Oh my God, you're such an idiot. What was that?" "Oh, nothing." And it would just go completely over his head, and he wouldn't get that. But she had that like dark sense of humor that she would use, to her advantage, and that stuck, around here. But Tila was never like a Debbie Downer for constantly. That's
she was
not
soft spoken. You remember that little voice from the original cartoon? It was all like, "I am the seductress. I'm going to cut your head off." That's what I was always expecting.
I mean, this is part of the new cruelty of Tila, where she, is just, she's just, and ironically, at some point, like you said, Stephen, we all find out that Orko is suffering terribly. And, Tila is like ice. She's just, so unresponsive. Even when, let's say Triclops and his men come and attack the village, and they need that magic. I didn't know that there were things like that in Eternia, but this, there's something special about the water.
right.
And the water is like one of the last sources of magic, and everybody needs it. And this is really nice that they showed that the entire kingdom depends on magic. And that's good because, with Tila's comments about how don't depend on magic, you don't really need it, and all this stuff. Clearly it's needed, isn't it? Like, we're witnessing a situation of somebody dying. So, you have to, in a world, or at least say in this world, they need the magic. So let's stop pretending like you don't need it. She's contradicting, what's inherently important in her own, kingdom. So, enough is enough already. She can't keep denying that it's important. And especially since she's been hanging out with Evelyn, who herself is a sorceress. So, who are we kidding here? She's spoken to two sorceresses now, the main sorceress and Evelyn. She's seen Orko suffering. She sees the people suffering. What is it going to take for her to, say, all right, screw it, I'm with the magic. Sorry, Andra, take your gadgets.
They're not gonna work.
Yeah.
They're not gonna work. You need to give it up And it's like magic is, is the thing that we need to save here. And I want to get to a couple comments because first of all, there are 30 of you folks in here watching. So thank you
Yes.
so very much. And please do hit that like button.
And Lorena, and I'm sorry, I just wanted to say one more thing.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It's very interesting that in one episode we see that there was a magical cup, that special cauldron that people are drinking to turn into a cyborg because it's magic. That's a magical transformation. And now this is the second time that we're seeing people consume some sort of liquid that is supposed to give them some sort of magic. So it's kind of interesting to see the two very different, cups, very different sources, but both dependent on magic, even though the techno union guys say no way to magic, but they're using
rocket.
So that's all I wanted to say in regards to looking at those two examples and how different they are, but still you're consuming something that's magical.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even see that part. So that's a neat analogy because I didn't think about that. There was the cyber cup, and then there's the magic one. But in both cases, it's ingesting that power, one to transform you, and one where you cannot survive, without it. So let's see, folks. We have Zen Waters who says, Lorena Creole, it would have been a good plot line if Evil Lynn was shown to be playing Tila, but that's not really what it felt like. More they were just girl talking.
Hey, girlfriend. Hey,
girl.
Hey,
what?
girl.
Hey, what?
Oh my God, you like
What?
him? I like him too. He doesn't even
What?
know that I exist.
Like, oh my God, did you see the size of that bone on that guy's head in the cow? I just wanted to, oh my God, I just gotta get in there. I tell you. I gotta get in there. I gotta get that scepter with the two horns and go to town.
Wow, is he goth?
Does he have that discount code for hot Skeletopic? I would love to go to Hot Skeletopic and get me some purple rose for my frustration.
Things have changed so much in Eternia since we don't have as much magic. But fortunately, I have this fancy staff and I can do whatever I want. It's better than your engineered parts. Ha ha ha.
It's also like Tila's is pretty much like Rosa, the Mexican girlfriend. Here, hold my baby while I lose my shit.
It was, oh my gosh, but it just was. I'm just like, I can't believe what I'm freaking watching here.
I can't do this no more. I can't.
Oh God, but yeah, it was just, it sounded like basically like Mean Girls.
Yeah, but we've seen better lines in Mean Girls and Plastics. Like we had better.
Oh God, yeah, get in, loser. We're going shopping.
I've seen better lines in Pornhub. In the title description.
Oh my God. Vertical horizon.
A banana hammock? Oh, tell me what.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God, girlfriend.
Oh, April O'Neil. Oh, she was April O'Neil's voice. I didn't watch that incarnation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I couldn't bring myself. I didn't want my memories sullied, so I didn't. I saw the promo for it and I said, I'm not gonna.
Bonehead says magic staff, ladies. See.
Where? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. That's all I'm gonna say. And yes, folks, check out Justin Proper's channel at 7 p.m. Eastern for This Week in BS. Unfortunately, I can't make it, but please do raid Justin's stream.
Yes.
Please do raid his stream after this one is over. Hey, Justin. Please do raid his stream. I appreciate that. Let's see. We have, oh my gosh. I'm like, where the heck did I go? I'm trying to get everyone here. Zach said, to be fair to Sarah Michelle Gellar, she's been married to Freddie Prinze Jr., probably has a ton of rage buildup. I call him Mr. Sarah Michelle Gellar, actually. That's my nickname for him. Oh, if she does, she needs to be better at her rage projection, because it does nothing for her voice acting range at all.
Well, she had more emotion in The Grudge. I mean, what she wasn't in. I don't remember exactly what percentage of the film she was in. Like,
Yeah, I remember her being in that.
but like for me, her the best performance was when she stuck her head in the attic and just like, like, you know, that was
Mm.
a very good moment, and I think we could have seen that here somewhere, you know.
Yeah, it's like, come on now. Let's see. Ion, hello, says, well, the whole Orko thing was a setup for Kevin to make you love him, so it will hurt when we kill him. But Orko was all loved for the dorky being that he was.
Like, oh my God, you are so right. Sorry.
He always meant well, and you know, just so sweet. You know,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
He really was. I mean, I get the idea of making you bond to a certain character, so that when something tragic does happen to them, that you feel it because you have that bond. I mean, that's a classic exposition, term in writing, used in writing and in television. But Orko, it's like he was just he was just one of those characters that just had such a big heart. You could always count on him, to be positive. And he just had his own his own special niche in Masters of the Universe. But we loved him because he was dorky. He wasn't cool. It was kind of like, I almost want to say, kind of like when you were in school. Not everyone was hip or cool or whatever. Some people made mistakes, dropped your tray, in the restroom, ripped your pants. Just something that happened, stuff that didn't turn out right. You went to go talk to this girl and turned out that she didn't like you, and she pointed at all your friends, or you wrote a note to a boy you liked and you ripped it up and threw it in the trash. I mean, that kind of thing.
What?
And Orko, of course, is a magical creature. This is something he doesn't exist in our world. So this is, he's a special being. He's special. He's not an ordinary being. And, that was also kind of cool about him, because, he's speaking to you, but you realize it's like, he's not like everybody else. There's really something special about him. He's just, an incredible. Yes, like it's so different. And I really like that they did that, because they didn't sort of, I guess I'm not going to say that he isn't anthropomorphized somewhat, but he's not recognizable as a human at all. Right? I mean,
yeah.
Relatively speaking, when you look at him, he doesn't look like a human that you've ever seen, but he looks like a creature or a being that clearly comes from, like a very, magical, rich background, but probably even more. There's so much more to his lore. So, to see him fooled around with, I don't like that very much.
And now, and it makes me wonder why they want, of all people, to do that too. They pick Orko, to do that too. Ugh.
Yeah.
So Dragon Master 360 question: why didn't Melissa Benoist voice Teela? Was she the original voice actress?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good question.
I need context. Yeah. But VidFile answers this actually in two, because Hollywood is stupid. That is one. That is true. Val Kilmer says Hollywood often doesn't hire the right actor. And he has a point with that, because a lot of times it's who hiring people to sometimes fulfill a favor. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, if you want this particular actor that I represent, you have to take this piece of crap voice actor and hire them. And you do that, then you get this other one. I mean, there's the kind of deals that happen, all the time in Hollywood. It's not always the best talent. It's usually who's got the best agent that can hustle it for you. You
And
know?
then, like at some point in this episode, to continue on the odd, interactions between, Tila and her dad, we see, like, for example, where they're supposed to be continuing the mission and who's going to go where, like, who's going to go here, who's going to go there, all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
And there's one of the oddest things that I've ever seen, let's say between a father and a daughter that I've never seen anything like that before. Do you know what I'm referring to? I'm referring to the part where she shakes her father's hand. And I'm like,
Mm.
it's kind of
Mhm.
weird. Like, what is that?
It's very weird. I would almost rather her kind of be standoffish, like, because it's like you usually want to hug your dad, but if you're pissed, you don't really want to hug him. I would
Yeah.
rather see that. That actually makes sense as opposed to, oh, I'm just gonna shake your hand. That doesn't, yeah,
So
that's just
weird.
off. It's extremely,
This is
extremely
her only
weird.
parent, essentially.
Yeah, who's like, and from what I understand, pretty much raised her from when she was from a baby. So I don't, somebody who, not only was her father, but she's fought side by side, been mentored, by him. That's an extremely strong, relationship. So I can't see something as informal as, oh, I'm going to shake your hand. It doesn't really make sense to me. Hey, Aiken says good day. Well, good day to you too. I know you're in Australia. I think it's tomorrow morning. I think where you are right now.
Good
But thank
day.
you
Good
so
day.
much for joining us. Bonehead did it again. Ditch the Drinker Mauler stream. Oh,
What?
bless you. I
Oh
love
my
Drinker.
God. Wow.
I love Drinker. Thank you for coming over here. I appreciate that, my dear. I so do appreciate that. Max, relax. I'm consuming something magical. Is it Bacardi? Bacardi rum is magical. At least that's what I tell myself. Cornholio. Oh, love that. The whole thing is still boring, though it's a linear set of encounters for the Tila Brigade. Just one encounter after another, then going back to Gray Skull. Hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. It is. It's not. If you remember from the original series, there was like the A line and the B plot line. That was going on. And this one, but you're right. Yeah, it's just to completely go straight. There's no cut back to the palace. There's no cut back to see like King Randor thinking, okay, I probably really screwed up. I was like really grieved. We need to go find Duncan and we need to bring him back here. So kind of like those kinds of cutaways. And yeah, I think that's you bring that up, Cornholio. That's a big drawback to this. There's no B story. There's nothing filling in the blanks. It's like a black box. Sorry, go ahead, Fast Steven.
First of all, Harrison Ford just subbed to your channel. Congratulations.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think it's a fake account, but Harrison Ford just subbed to your
Either
channel.
way, it's a simple fact that it says Harrison Ford. Thank you so much for subscribing. That makes me smile.
I loved you in Last Jedi when you got that saber right through you. It was
Oh,
great.
that was so painful to watch.
What's more painful, this or Jedi?
I liked in Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple.
I liked
you
shirtless. I liked him with no shirt on.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Snake.
That's my favorite Indiana Jones movie, actually.
I liked him in those is it Tom Clancy films like Clear and Present Danger?
That was good too.
All of that stuff. I liked him, playing the agent and running around and, dodging cars and bullets and, and I love that.
He's a great action star.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great action star. Well, thank you so much, Max Relax. I sure do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I remember Sarah and Robot Chicken playing Chad Daphne. I may have to pull that back up because I think she voiced a couple of things in Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
That I liked.
Wasn't she Daphne? Yeah, she was Daphne, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yep, she was Daphne. I think Keela got that's not right. That's so wrong, Keely. Max Relax says, hmm.
Oh yes,
There's a
the
spider
spider.
behind you. Swat it. Tila's completely out of character in this. They would always
Yes.
hug. Exactly.
Luis, you hit the nail on the head. This is
Mhm.
it was cringe moment. It was a cringe moment because it was like, what are you doing? That's what I was thinking. But in my mind, I wanted to say, what are you doing? That's your dad,
Yeah, and
you know.
that's how uh shows shows it's like, come on, when you're writing this stuff, you don't you need to write for the underlying emotion and the interaction of, of the characters. You can't write characters in isolation. That's not how
Mhm.
that works. Zach says that's what Kevin Smith thinks strong women are like. Ugh, God. Ugh. Ugh. He needed to go back and watch more episodes of original Masters of the Universe and the 2002 reboot, honestly. Because that reboot is freaking life. That's all I'm gonna say. I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, something else that Luis had said in the past too, and it's relevant in this episode, is that the language, even the comments that they use, are not the type of stuff that they would use in Eternia. So there's like slang and different things that are used that just don't, fit in this, world. And that's why we're kind of like, you kind of step back and you're like, what? Huh? Like that doesn't belong here. This isn't what this world is about. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very jarring, and it's not the speech pattern that we're used to, and they're kind of just trying to make it hip and now, and it's kind of like if you're watching a Shakespearean play and all of a sudden they start using like 60 slang or something like that. It's just like, no, that's not how this works if you're doing it as straight classic, Shakespeare, and not like an interpretation. It's kind of like the same thing. I hope this Harrison Ford is actually Vinny Tartamella, Vinny Art. He's got some great art. But this episode here, they're on the boat, and I keep calling him Merman, but he kind of seems like the guy in high school who gets mad because the chick he wanted to date, who dropped her boyfriend, won't date him.
Oh, okay. The rejected guy.
Yes, because in this one, he just basically goes off on Evil Lynn, like Skeletor died and we could have taken over, you and me, but no, that didn't happen. So I'm going to have to kill you. I'm
You
like,
know,
is this where we're going with this?
yeah, unrequited love. Uh, yeah, I don't know, but what was funny was that as they were on this barge, traveling on the Crystal Sea, there certainly was a sense that they were going to be attacked, wasn't there? Like you could
Yes.
feel it, like the hairs on the back of my neck were like, they're going to get attacked on this Crystal Sea,
They're all like, it's out in the open, and they're all, oh, this is great, and this brings you memories. You got that exposition, and Orko's telling Andra, keep a journal because you're gonna miss these memories, even the
Yeah.
small stuff.
Like,
And
who
it's
the hell says that?
and you're looking like, what is it coming from above? Is it coming from the sea? Something is
Is this a counseling session? Like, I want you to keep a diary and write down everything that happens, and then we can
Yes.
discuss it when. No. And then, something that I didn't think that was going to happen was that they took Merman a prisoner, I guess, and
Mhm.
said, you have to show us the way. And I thought to myself, wow, he just got played,
Big time, because one of Evil Lynn Simps came to you. He was. It's
Yeah, this poor guy.
it's
I
pretty
actually felt
much what
sorry
he was.
for him.
It's just like, yeah, you got played. Yes, Cavatanio, friend zoned in Eternia. That was the
Yes.
biggest friend zone moment I had ever freaking seen. I had to rewind it. I had to scrub back like 3 times to verify if I saw what I saw. So I don't know if it came from Kevin Smith. I don't know if it came from this guy. I'm sorry, the hot chick in school did not want to date you, but we do not need to be put through that kind of torture.
This was the relationship episode, you know.
Yeah. Yes, it's totally it. The rejected guy, you know, the simp guy who's, you know, don't touch my girl. She's not going to date me, but dang it, I'm going to protect her till the day I
She'll never touch my junk, but I will never let her touch anyone else's junk. Let me tell you something. You think you're alone kissing her? I'm in the bushes staring, telling you. I never leave her side. I fold her panties. I do everything for the hope she whispers my name. Get out of my closet.
But was it just me, or was there like an S&M feel when
I would have preferred that.
when Evelyn kind of grabbed Merman, you know, with the rope or whatever it was?
Yeah.
It felt kind of S&M like to me, and I was fine with that. I was like, whoa.
Someone's about to get their tuna on.
Yeah, I was like,
good.
whoa,
Right.
this feels a little, but it's because she puts off this sexual vibe.
She wanted to see the full sushi roll.
And you know, that shows her ability as an actress. Like, it just you can't deny it at that. You couldn't deny. I felt it. Maybe I felt too much. But
No, because how Evelyn moves with purpose. And again, going back to Game of Thrones, Cersei moves with purpose. She doesn't say anything as like a throwaway. She doesn't do anything as, you know, as a throwaway. She has this poise and confidence that commands attention, and it comes through in the voice actress when she's saying, you know, when she's saying the lines and how she speaks to them. It's like they just feel like, oh my God, she talked to me. She's kicking my ass, but she talked to me, and I love it. You know, that she just gives off, and she does. She gives off a very, very sensual, sexual vibe. How else? Okay, Tila's got a haircut like a man. All right, she pulls off
She
her
looks like
helmet.
Dean Venture.
Okay, and she's got this hair flying in the wind. Oh, it's like, yeah, and she's just like, yeah, I know, I'm hot stuff. I really do, and she does. So you were not alone. I picked up on that, you know, as well. Everything, even down to her makeup. Granted, I love blue. I love freaking blue eyeshadow. If you look at her face, she's very, very feminine. I mean, very femme when you look at her and compare her with like Tila. You know, and Tila looked feminine in, you know, in the original, but they took that out. But I guess that's Evelyn's power, and I guess that's knowing where this is going. They're probably painting that as that's a bad thing. That's, you know, that's an evil thing, and that's not what it should be at all.
yeah, and I agree with you. So I feel a little relieved that I wasn't the only one who felt that way, because
Yeah.
I was a little worried about. I was like,
I was hoping a whip was going to come out. I was disappointed.
Thank you. Because at this point, he was going to take whatever he could get. You know, he's like, okay, fine. You want to do S&M? We'll do S&M.
Yeah, he was just that freaking. He was just that desperate. I
think Tila could have also taken some notes too.
Oh yes, copious notes. This is how you handle it. But I thought it was interesting how, you know, Man at Arms comes to the rescue, and she's like, I told you to go to Grayskull, and he was just like, but I love you.
Yeah, that's a bit of a wake up call to her to stop, you know, ignoring the people who love her.
We're forgetting an important fact right here, and I just shared it right now.
What are we sharing? What are we looking at?
Tila
here?
is technically Dean Venture.
With the head switched out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Those arms are the same.
Yeah.
completely.
So was the anger.
I love Evelyn's face. Like, who Who the heck is this chick?
True.
Dean
And I'm telling you, like, shaved heads can be, like, if you look at Cyberpunk, there are women with shaved heads. You look at Vasquez, she was sexy as hell, you know, like, it
Sinead
doesn't have
O'Connor.
to be, yes, Sarah Connor, you know, like, is that what you said?
Sinead O'Connor.
Oh, sorry, Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor.
You know, it doesn't. Well, you know something? Oh, wait. So Louise Sparrow says, so feminine and sexy is equated to evil. I thought that in the trailer for the second part too. Interesting.
Yes, you know what?
Very,
Louise, you
very
bring up a good
insightful,
point.
Louise.
I picked up on that as
Mhm.
well, and it's unfortunately a too common, trope. You can't be too feminine. Being feminine is bad. They want masculine women and feminized men.
Although
Yeah.
I think Evelyn's a freak in the bed, especially the way she was holding her man.
Oh, you know it.
Don't ask where the scepter
He's like,
goes.
all three of us
Don't
on.
ask where the scepter goes. Just
I
go
knew
with it.
everyone knew.
She
What do you
would
call
take-
this move? I call it the dirty Orko.
You know what? I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head now.
She would take all three of us on, okay?
Oh,
Like,
hell yeah. He got those golden rings you'll see later on. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
oh
Make her
man.
stick to the ceiling till she's
See,
ready for
the
you.
best part
Right,
is like, we can do a
that's
prelude for the next time. It's like, I'm doing it myself, Evelyn. I'm doing it myself.
You know what? I bet you there's some fanfic out there.
And there really probably is.
Very
Two Orcos, one cup.
Even Panther needs to see.
What's your girlfriend's name? Frank. Oh shit, I'm out.
Oh my god!
It's so good.
Oh man, that's funny. That's
Let's go to
funny.
the Peggy of the universe. Jesus.
Oh, Dragon Master 360. Huh? It's almost like they're throwing shade at femininity. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They've been doing it for years.
Hey, can
Because there was nothing wrong with Tila, how she looked like in the beginning, and I would have given them credit if they would have kept her kind of like dressed, the same way, but they didn't. It's like she went from having boobs to no boobs.
But not even that. The way she had her hair up in that bun, when that comes down, you know it's just going to be, you're getting the ginger time. It's going to be grand. It's going to be fun. It's going to be the man at arms in a whole new way. It slices. It dices. It teaches you gracefulls.
She said, "What's that supposed to be?" I guess that was the Dean Venture picture. Yeah, just basically swipe the head out. It looks like a dude's body. There's nothing feminine, about it.
I'd be
At all.
scared if she had a crush on me. I'd be very scared. I'm going to treat you the way Adam treated me. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm going to go to counseling for the next 3 weeks.
Zen Waters says, Lorena Creole, feminine being evil is such a sexist narrative too. Only masculinity is good. Yeah, it's almost I'm going to disagree slightly because it's like they don't like masculinity either.
Mhm.
It's like they don't like the polar opposites, which always make such a good story. It's like they want this androgynous, layer,
Right. Right.
Hey, man. That's
in
what
there.
we're
So I think that looking at it that way, it is sexist. It's like you can't respect that there's masculine and feminine, and both have their own,
Traits.
their own unique traits. Yeah.
And
But-
we did talk about this before about how in the original series they had used actual, fitness people who had incredibly beautiful bodies as, the basis for what we see, what we grew up knowing. And so, there truly were these individuals who just looked so beautiful physically.
Mhm.
And, we got lucky to have something based on that.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, it's like the way I'm seeing it so far is like they're calling, if you work out or masculinity, you're childish. But if you look too beautiful and feminine, you should look more manly. That's pretty much what I'm getting from this.
Pretty much.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that I'm a childish man lover, I guess. I don't know what that means.
Pretty much, which is why something I don't like with part two. Why is it that He-Man looks like Conan the Barbarian? It's like he doesn't. It's just like it's like he's like Neanderthal now. It's like here's like wild and everything, and it makes me wonder if that's what they see masculinity as. It's just
He looks like he's on steroids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like Quest for
Exactly.
Fire. With steak. Mouth. Eat.
Feminine and sexy is male gaze, sign of the patriarchy. Ree! Yeah, because you got those like shades of down with the patriarchy. I could have been something if I wasn't,
I don't
throwing
know.
Put down
skeletal
those-
around.
If I put down those 5 boxes of Twinkies and actually went to the gym, I wouldn't feel like the patriarchy was calling me a land whale. And all people know me as is Gail Simone. Oh, sorry, wrong word. Oh, my bad.
Oh man.
And and I'm not really, I don't want to stray off from what we're talking about in regards to, looking at bodies and
Can we look at bodies?
yes, we should always be doing that. Evelyn does something in this episode, and she kind of uses her magic a lot throughout the series, but I didn't know that she could open up Subternia.
I
Like,
didn't
I
either.
didn't know she could do stuff like this. I mean, clearly she's very good at magic, but I was impressed because, after all, it's the underworld.
Totally. And it seemed like she didn't think she was going to be able to do it either. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll put this thing on here. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, I guess not. Guess we'll all go home. And then all of a sudden the ground starts shaking. She looked, she looked surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you have to like your evil ladies hot and edgy because that's what they
Mhm.
are.
Uh-huh.
She's
you
good.
know?
She kind of makes it more bearable. And can you imagine if she wasn't in this? Oh my God.
If she wasn't in this, I would have tapped out completely. Completely.
Do you
She's
see
like,
his saber?
she's oh my god. You know what? That,
I love it. I love it.
all of a sudden my brain shuts off and I just go back to that scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League where he's drinking the whiskey and throwing it on the side and takes his shirt off
Oh,
and goes
my
straight into the water.
God.
I'm just
That is
like,
too good.
thank you, Zack Snyder. I'm gonna watch that again.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Lorena.
Oh no, that's okay. Let's see, Daniel Carhoonan, who I don't think I've seen you in my chat before, so welcome. They could have just kept it simple with the feminine women and the masculine men to please the majority of the fans. Yeah, they could have. They could have. And because that's what we're used to seeing with the original and even with the 2002 reboot.
Right.
But they didn't want to do that because that's not what that's not the narrative these days. For some reason, they don't think that kind of stuff sells.
I wouldn't mind hanging out with He-Man for a little while.
Uh-huh. Until he turns into Sailor Moon, then you're out.
That still cracks me up. That looks like shot for shot like the Sailor Moon transformations. I just goodness gracious.
Mhm.
I'm like, come on. It was a great animation technique they used that gave it something special. Do you mean with the animation studio for this? Because I agree, the animation studio that did this,
Funimation.
it's beautiful.
I think they're referring to the original 80s way they did it with getting real bodies and they traced over and used
Oh yeah. The method that they
Is it-
use with like studying.
Is it rotoscoped?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was almost something that I want to say studios like Disney did the same thing, but with like animating animals. That's why Bambi looks so realistic. They actually studied how the animals moved, and that's how they would draw them by like, by observing them. That used to be what people freaking did. When they did animation, they went and like watched it for real. That's the reason why because one of the hardest things to animate is water, and I'm kind of going off on a segue here for a reason. One of the hardest things to animate is water. And Pixar, when they did Finding Nemo, that's literally what they had to do because they would animate water and it looked off. And they're like, no, this doesn't work. They had to go scuba diving several different, like 10 feet down, 50 feet down, all of that to actually accurately picture what things look like underwater, how plants look like underwater, how fish swim underwater. Like they actually had to observe and do that. And, and it shows. Hey Danny, how you doing? He says, "What's up, Miss Creole?" Well, what's up to you, Danny? Good seeing you, my dear. Always good seeing you. Hope you're staying safe out there, my dear. Let's see.
What's up? What's up? Ooh.
Let's see. Bonehead says, already quoted this today. There's no weapon as powerful as your femininity. Madeline from the Femme Nikita. Absolutely. Why do you think all the honey traps in the Bond movies were women? Absolutely. Aiken says T2 Linda is both feminine and strong, so are aliens women. Absolutely. Like my I call them like my sheroes.
Yeah.
Because that's how they were. No one thought that they were masculine. No one thought they weren't trying to be men at all. They were just strong, they were just strong women. And in both of those cases, the most feminine that they were when they were protecting their children. Absolutely. Let's see. Louise X Sparrow says, I only got through it by watching it as part of Shadeology's reaction videos. There's something soothing about Skeletor mocking and laughing.
What?
So funny.
What?
Yeah.
What? Oh, nothing.
I'll get you, man. And your little chill.
Yes, you would, Stunning and Brave Megatron. That's why I want that top.
What?
Because it looks so awesome. And Wyatt Holiday is here in the chat. Says, what's up, everyone? Just wanted to swing in and say hi to Lorena Creole. Well, hello. Good to see you, my dear. Folks, Wyatt does have a campaign over on Indiegogo with several things. One that I backed called Eternal Armor because it's got big freaking robots in it. So you should go over there and back it too. I cannot wait to get my copy. So good seeing you, my dear. Zach says this series got me excited about not paying to see Clerks 3. Yeah, at one time I wanted to see Clerks 3. Now I'm just like, I ain't in a hurry. And I loved Clerks 1 and 2. I so loved those two. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Zen Waters. And I hate how everyone is trying to trash older Bond women. The first one, Honey Rider, had memorized an entire encyclopedia set and pulled a knife when she first met James.
Is that true that they're trying to trash older Bond women?
They better not. Because as someone who will watch the Bond movies, the Bond women were always like amazing to me. So I don't know why is it that they're trashing them because you had the ones that were saying that they were basically sex objects, which there's some truth to, but there was an objective with that. James Bond would kick another man's ass, but he sees a woman and it's like, all common sense goes out the window because that was powerful.
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. They're spies. Stop.
Exactly. That's what it's called. It's called spy, spy genre.
Come on.
Oh, I'll draw you in this top one of these days, Lorena. Oh, absolutely.
Ooh.
Please, my dear. I would flip and love that. Especially if you draw me as a transformer. I would freaking love that. Let's see. Cavatano, Calvary Manche, Lorena Creole. You need to ask Comics Division for the what? Skeletor clip. I think I can get it from Tom, but I'll get it from both sources. That's one of my favorite Skeletor lips.
It's unbelievable. It's very clever. Very clever.
It's perfect. Just absolutely perfect. It's the director overcompensating. Probably. The Bosco scenario, Lorena Creole. Comment ça va, ma chère?
Ooh.
Ça va bien, très bien.
Yeah, and you know what?
Tabernacle.
My brain said, Is it French? Because we've been studying Spanish, so you've forgotten all the French you know.
Et pas pour
Which way do I answer?
It's
But I read it and understood it, though. I did. I took 5 years of French. 5 years of French, have French ancestors.
I took 5 years of French kissing.
That's
I
a
ran out of
course
pillows.
now? Yeah, they're saying they're not strong, independent women. They were submissive.
No, they
Those
weren't
people are
submissive. They were
stupid.
spies. You can't be submissive and be a spy. You can't. Contradictory.
Maybe.
No. I mean,
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. How could you be a spy and be submissive? You're aggressive. You're going, even if you're pretending to be submissive, you're passive aggressive.
Exactly. It's all a plan. Again, look up the term honey trap. Pick your target. Study your target.
They don't deserve this. They don't
Mm-mm.
deserve this. Grace Jones is not, what I'd say, not strong and independent.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Oh, Lord. These people. But yes, Max, relax. The director is overcompensating. I don't know who these two guys are, but yeah, completely overcompensating. Lorena Tron. I like that.
You see that?
That is absolutely
Oh,
freaking perfect. Study your great Megatron.
I can't even.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys are absolutely amazing. As painful as it is to go through these episodes, you guys in the chat, you make it great with like all your observations. It's great to play off and have this conversation, because you're gonna have people out there who are just like, oh, you just hate it because of Kevin Smith.
We don't hate it.
We have issues with it. Just because we don't like certain things about it doesn't equate to hating something. So this whole series is to break that narrative that, oh, just because Kevin Smith showed his ass, we right off the bat hate the show. It's not it at all. And oh my gosh, as with like Scarlett Johansson's boobs now.
Are you saying my feminine wiles are not acceptable in this day and age?
I'm just trying to figure out what surgeon you had. That's all.
Oh, it was Dr. Play-Doh Factory. That's what it was.
They might also be. Well, I know it's Scarlett Johansson, but they could also be Thelma Hayek's boobs.
That's true. It could be.
Stop! My eyes are up here, gentlemen. Stop being weird.
It could be. It's why you can't cover up Salma Hayek. You have to see. You have to see. Hey, Mr. Tickle.
Those aren't my testicles. Those are kumquats from the local market. Yeah.
Oh,
People try to trade them for Twinkies.
well, I can't take my eyes off of them, so that must
Thank
mean
you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, wow, you had a really good surgeon.
Thank you.
What? That's what happens from
You should
living
see
in
when
LA
I
for
run
so
in slow
long.
motion.
I kid you not. Okay, I do have to tell the story. So I kid you not. So when I was a defense contractor and we go out like places to eat, I like to go to Hooters because Hooters got good wings, right?
They do got good wings.
They do. They absolutely do. So we went there because I didn't care. I was like, I just want wings or whatever. So I go with some coworkers, and one of my coworkers is like, I don't want to look, but since you lived in LA, are her boobs real? And I'm like,
Yes, mine are very real.
I'm like, no, but whoever did them, they did a really, really, really good job.
Thank you.
So that was my job, was to spot the good and the bad boob jobs. Because they didn't want to ask, and I just look and tell them. I know, it's totally toxic. But we are going to wrap it up as always. You guys make this so much fun.
Mhm.
And thank you. Being on our panel talking this.
Yes.
I love talking this with you. Love talking this with you. And of
I
course,
loved being here. Thank you.
oh, you are very, very welcome. I want that Scarface poster. I keep looking at it. I want it. And of course, Fat Steven, thank you so much for joining us. I don't know how many
Uh,
6 packs of beer we owe you.
you owe me a lot, and I'll just say one thing: don't thank me, thank my boobs.
Thank you, boobs. We appreciate that.
You forgot the left one.
Oh my
I'm
gosh. Well,
stunning and shaved.
what do you guys have going on tonight? We'll start with what do you have coming up?
I'm going to be streaming with the 1/6 Scale Man on the 1/6 Scale Man Network. And we're doing a show at 9:15 called Uncivilized Scoundrels. It is a Star Wars show. And then on Friday, I'm going to be doing, Midnight Metal, where I'm going to be on at 3 a.m. in the morning with Robert Meyer Burnett and Lael Rockwell from 1/6 Scale Man on the Burn Network.
Very good. Very good, girl. I wish I could be up that late. I can't. I can't. I'm like turning over snoring, saying I got to get up in 2 hours. I don't want to get up in 2 hours. Oh, Fat Steven, what do you have coming up?
1 second. Sorry, He-Man does that to me.
That's okay.
I don't know if I'll stream tonight, but I might just throw in a little bit of Warzone. I'm going to go to bed early, and I'll be up, I think, at midnight when Battlefield 2042 goes live. So you can, laugh at me trying to play that. Boobs.
You've been talking about that one for a
For
while.
a while, yeah, I have been.
Yeah, I know. I'm laughing at this. I put her hands in holy water during a school trip to a church, grabbed her boobs, and prayed for bigger ones. I ain't mad at her whatsoever. Nice. Wizard Beard says nice cleavage ass.
Oh, anytime, dude. Just look at my eyes. They're up here. Like, what the hell?
Well, folks, of course, after the stream, please go over and raid Justin Proper's stream, which is coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm usually on, but I can't, be on tonight. So please go over there and raid his stream. Tomorrow at 12 noon, the Lunch Table Show, which I co-host with Fat Steven down here. We are going to be talking Disney Plus Day, and most specifically, the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer that's supposed to legit drop tomorrow. It kind of got leaked a little bit early, and Disney's been zapping it all over the place. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it tomorrow and get you guys reactions. A little bit of a different show. We don't have a guest, so we're just going to be talking, latest pop culture topics. So please do drop in for that. And of course, Saturday at 9 a.m., I will be live streaming from Universal Orlando as Christmas has officially hit the park. So we are going to check out Grinchmas over at Seuss Landing to check out the stuff that's there and all the other cool stuff that's going on at Universal. So I love Christmas at Universal. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to show that to you guys. So as always, thank you guys so much for joining us. I appreciate it. I don't know if Mead is going to be on tonight or not. So keep an eye out for that as well. And we will talk to you all later. Next week, we will be double shot because we're just going to do it and get it over with. Reviewing episode 4 and 5 of Masters of the Universe Revelation. So we will see you all later. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.